Hello, beautiful kindred souls, and welcome to my crafting corner. It is Key, and we are going to get a start on my Serene Day Garden kit project. So this digital kit is available in my Etsy shop right now. It's actually a collection of listings, and I printed off what I'm going to be using for this project. So this is not exhaustive or complete. I did a flip through of the papers that I'm going to be using for this project already, so you can check that out if you're interested in sort of seeing some of the images. Check out my Etsy shop and take a look at the listing if you want to see each individual page that's going to be included in all of those listings. So I'm pulling together a project using these digitals so you can see them in action. I love this kit, the color palette. It's such a bright and uplifting grouping of digitals, and I'm really looking forward to using them for the project that we're going to be putting together today. So, set those off to the side. Today we're going to be getting a go on the shell or the outside of our project. So this project is actually inspired by a listing. I think it's from Natasha from Treasure Books. She had a video, I think it was called like the ultimate envelope folio or something like that. And she used an envelope like this and to make that project. So my project is going to be based off of that one, but I definitely made some changes based on my own ideas and thoughts that are floating around. And the first of those things is to use a paper bag instead of a regular envelope. So I use that envelope as a base to sort of measure out. I actually traced it on the back of this, but I wanted to use the brown paper bag because it is more sturdy. And I also wanted to paint it, and painting an envelope like that would have just disintegrated. So basically I painted this full page, and then I traced the envelope on the back. I don't even know if you can see the pencil line work, but I'll be cutting that out, and then that'll be the base for our envelope. So this is like my little sample, and kind of what I'm thinking that we're gonna do. So this will be the cover picture, and it'll open out this way. You probably don't understand any of this chicken scratch, but her project had what I would consider 3 signatures and then some envelope flips, basically. So one signature that came in from this side and opened out that way, a waterfall journal that came vertically and you know, was vertically that way, so it hinged that direction. And then the third one was tucked into this pocket here, the actual like pocket to the envelope itself. And then there were a series of stacked envelopes that you could kind of leaf through like this. So again, we're keeping the spirit of the project, but I changed several things, and I'll sort of go through those as we get started. So this is my roadmap or my plan of what I'm gonna do, and we'll see what happens because it's all theory until you actually put glue to paper. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut out my form. So when I paint paper bag, which I feel like I've done this on camera before, I basically put a layer of gesso down on my brown paper bag after opening it up completely. So basically you're opening it up backwards so that it's completely unfolded. And then I put a layer of gesso on the face that I'm going to be painting, which is, you know, this particular one has writing and stuff on one side, so I painted on the opposite side to that. That's going to be inside the journal anyway. If any of it falls inside of my sketch lines, it's going to be inside and you're not going to see it. So I put a layer of gesso down, and then I let that dry, and then I paint my color on top. I use yellow for this particular one, so it is a little bit lighter, but it's okay because we're going to be doing other things on top of it. So this is just sort of the base that we're working from. So let's go ahead and get started cutting this out. Where did I trace? Ah, on this side. It is a little awkward working with these big sheets, but that's okay. It won't be big for long. Just gonna go ahead and cut this out. I am really excited about this project because when I saw that video from Natasha, I was like, oh my gosh, such a cool project. And I changed a lot about it to sort of fit my style, but conceptually I like the idea. Thought it was really cool how it folded out. It was so interactive, and I love a good interactive project. So alright, I'm gonna put this extra behind me to get it out of the way. I'm gonna finish cutting it out. Let me know how you're doing in the comment section. What are you working on right now? I'd love to hear what people are up to and how they're being creative and inventive. It's really inspiring. Admittedly, I traced the trace, so we can straighten out anything that doesn't make sense. We can trim and stuff if things don't make sense. These can be used for clusters and stuff like that, so I am going to save these pieces. Just toss them behind me for now, but I'll save them and use them in another project, or for this project, but like make smaller pieces with it. This little scribbly bit is just gonna get recycled. Okay, so this is basically what we have, which we pull out the real envelope. We'll see that this, you know, I shredded this just opening it, and I was like, yeah, this isn't gonna work. I'm not gonna be able to paint on this the way I would like to. So that's pretty much what we've got. So I'm actually gonna start. So this is gonna be how it actually is. This is a flap on, and this is the other one. And the brown paper bag is a little bit more sturdy. It's a little bit more hefty. So I'm just gonna make this a stronger bend there, just to make sure we're getting a good crease. And I think I added a little extra length, maybe not much, but a little bit of extra length, because we're gonna end up mounting this down to itself. This is actually very crooked. It doesn't really matter because it's gonna get glued anyway, but it's okay. And we want, for our project, we want the bottom to be on the top, because that's gonna be a pocket. And we're definitely gonna seal between our sides. This top piece is gonna be glued down, and then our pocket, so that our pocket only goes to the point where we want it to go. So that was one of the changes I made. I don't believe she sealed it down, but I am, because I don't want stuff, well, I changed some things, and I don't want things drifting between side to side, and you're having to stuff your whole arm down there to like get it out of there. All right, and I'm just creasing these other flaps here. All right. All right, so there we go. That's gonna go in there. So eventually this little snibbly bit is gonna get mounted down to the cover. You could also cut it off if you want to, but I want that edge clean, so I'm just gonna glue it down. I'm not gluing anything until I get in the components. So in Natasha's project, she used washi tape to mount her signatures onto her base. I'm going to use grommet and string, which if we look at our sample, I'm going to be doing using grommet and string so that it is, there was a thought and that thought disappeared. I'm using grommet and string so that you can take the signatures out, you can replace them that way, and you can also take them out to write in them. I just thought securing them permanently into the structure would make it difficult to actually write in it, because you'd have this big bulky thing potentially to write in that takes up a lot of space. So that I decided to use grommet and string. So I'm gonna put these grommets in and the elastic straps, and before I mount it down, and then I also am doing a closure. So for Natasha's project, she used the flap as a closure. Totally awesome idea. I just want my cover to be clean, so I'm actually going to have this flap secured inside the project, and I'm going to use an elastic strap closure. It'll basically wrap around the project. I don't think I can get to my example because I'd have to move the camera, and I'm not going to do that. But you'll see when I'm done. So we're going to do that. So what I'm going to do, you don't have to measure, but you can if you want to. I am going to measure just so you can sort of see what's going on. I don't think I measured when I sketched this in. I just eyeballed it, but it was about 1/2 inch or a centimeter from each side, top and left side. And of course you want the bottom one to align, so you're going to do that same dimension. And then you want about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch to the center line of your grommet from the spine or the middle of your project, to give some space, right? And then you're just gonna fit your signature inside of whatever that dimension is when the grommets and stuff are put in. So I'm just going to, I think my dot's gonna be somewhere around this spot. And I'm gonna go ahead and fold this in half so that I know where my center line is. Yeah, this is definitely, traced better than I did. I didn't trace very straight, so it's kind of wonky. In fact, let's see. I probably want to, because this is supposed to be my cover. Probably want that to be straight, yeah. Kind of, at least sort of straight-esque in the ballpark of. Okay. Now, you don't want to move it too much because then it's not going to align enough to do what we want to do. A little better. It doesn't really have to be perfect. Okay. And this will be that way. You can put, you know, well, that's not quite. Yeah, let's move it over a little bit more. Getting all the creasing the way you want it so that it's structured how you'd like. Okay, so it's pretty good. You see that cover there. That's pretty good. Okay. So, now I'm gonna do, this looks bigger, it's fine. I think we're gonna do something like a 3/4 of an inch, but still a 1/2 inch from the top because we want it to be the same. All right, now, excuse me, these definitely are not the same, so I'm gonna try to line this up there. All right, and we're not gonna forget our back, which, let's see, what we do. It's like 1 3/4 inches. It's like in between a 1/2 and a 3/4, which we could just do 1.5 inches because that's easier. And then a 1/2 inch from the top and bottom. All right, now this is a bear with me moment because I need to get a hole in there, and I think this little instrument maybe can do that. Admittedly, probably should have tested this out. Okay, we'll see how struggling this is. Because see, these edged ones, these ones close to the edge, could just use my little grommet device. All right, now, I know that I've done it before, but I don't do it very often. So, I don't know if this is it. What is this? Nope, that ain't it. Which is okay. I literally just need an opening. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Oh! We just need a hole. Okay. What are we doing? What? Let's see. Doesn't matter really. All right. So I want. Okay. I want this on the outside. So this needs to be like that, I think. In the back of it, it's like this, I think. Is this it? Nope. I could bang it a little bit more. Give me a second. I'm going to grab a hammer. Well, okay. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, perfect. Now we know what we're doing. Should I mute you? I'm gonna mute if I can figure out how to do that. No, I can't. Sorry, pause, or I'm sorry, turn the volume off. If you don't want to hear me banging around, because that's what's about to happen for a few minutes while I get my grommets in. All right, and then a backing piece. Okay, take out. Then this here, hammer. A couple more. Good. All right. And she keeps on going. This is actually probably going to work better because this piece is able to actually fall over the entire bottom piece. So I would say I'd make the hole a little bit bigger so that when you put this on, uh-oh, something fall off? Well, you're not really going to see the backs of those anywhere, so it matters a little less. I think we've got one more. I could have for the last one to use the other one, but we're on a roll. So we're just gonna go ahead and just do this last one with this method. Should be over, there we go. It popped into place. Okay. All right, that's it. Enough banging, you can unpause now. All right, so the next step is our elastic strap. So I'm just gonna fold everything up for a second just to see. Okay, so this is kind of what we have now. So we're gonna run elastic strap between these two and between these two, and then the back two. Let me do the back one first so I don't forget that one. All right. I'm doing like 1.5, 1 3/4, something like that. We'll see if that's sufficient. Oh, one more thing. I should have done this before I put the holes in, maybe. But what I want to do is I want to strengthen that, I think. I'm gonna mount down some more paper bag to give more strength to the closure, where the closure will be. Maybe I should do it for all of them, but for sure where the closure will be. This does not have to be anything fancy. I'm just trying to firm up the paper a little bit, because it's going to be pulling against that. And it's okay, because this particular location is going to get covered. So it's like, is that enough? No, I'm going to do another layer. Again, the intent is to like have a nice, stable, strong location for the elastic strap. Okay. I could do that for this too, but the tricky bit, this is going to be spanning 2 panels. I've never done this before, so I don't know if this is going to work. This is just all in my mind at this point in time, but I think I'm going to strengthen it. Why not? I don't think I could lose by strengthening that. is obviously taking some deep concentration because it's usually what happens when you don't know what you're doing. Okay. We will do the other side as well. Perfect. Me and this glue stick were like hanging real tough yesterday because I was working on something. Yes. All right. And then I'm gonna do across here too. Let's see what we got. I wasn't planning to do this, so this video might be a little longer than I initially anticipated, but I think that's okay. Because trust me when I tell you I've been planning this project for too long and I just needed to like start. Maybe that's today's lesson. Start. Just do it. Whatever it is that you've been putting off and over planning and overthinking and trying to think of every single scenario that could possibly not work. Like all of that brain power could have been put into actually just starting whatever it is that you're thinking about, because there's going to be stuff that you can't anticipate. Like you literally cannot think of every single little thing. I need to start putting a timer on my thinking, especially for projects. Like you have the idea, you have a approach, just do it. Just do the approach. Just give it a go. And if it screws up, that's also why I love junk journaling and making crafting exercises like this, because there's really no real horrible consequence to messing something up or jumping into something too quickly and not having everything figured out. And I feel like that muscle helps you to grow the muscles necessary to actually go after things that are higher stakes. It takes so much courage to move through this life from a place of power, because there's always something that could potentially go wrong, but you can't live your life. I mean, you could, but it's no good to live your life afraid to step out and live. What's the point? We're here to live, so let's do that. All right, so I'm gonna cover, probably because this is gonna be that pocket. Here, let's close this all up again so we can see what we're doing. This is gonna be the pocket where one of the signatures goes into, and I'm gonna cover this. Before I do that though, I need to mount a button, a paper button. We're gonna make a paper button really quick. Let's see. I always encourage you to watch double speed. My brain stopped functioning. Okay, I'm covering it with this. Which one was it? Here it is. My buttons sheet. This comes with the kit. I need a punch. This looks right. All right, which one do we want? Maybe the little hummingbird one? I think that'll be cute. Let's do the hummingbird. Tuck that back off. All right, and then what I do is I need this is just packaging from, I think, like soda or something, or it's probably sparkling water. I don't really drink soda like that. Sparkling water. So you just want something a little bit sturdy, and I'm gonna cut out 3 of these with my same punch. This is an inch punch, I believe. It was on the, I think it's an inch. And then I am going to glue all these little pieces together. I'm gonna do, so we're gonna glue, I glue the designed faces together first so that it's just brown on both sides. Get that just good. Put it down that way. And you can put these under clips or something like that until they dry. And then what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna get my, ooh, that was almost messy situation. This is my 1/2 inch punch. So you can put a brad, you can use a brad to mount it or attach it to. That's what I was gonna do. Am I still gonna do that? I was gonna do a brad, but what you could also do is just take a smaller punch. I'd probably do 2 of these. Well, yeah, I might do 2 of these. It just lifts it up off so that when you wrap it, it has somewhere to go. And then you can just glue this to that. And I'm debating on whether or not to use a brad. Well, while I'm debating, I can glue this down. Well, I was gonna use a brad and then cover it up when I cover up the inside. That was why I was doing it in this order. Okay. It actually doesn't really matter, honestly, because you'll get the same outcome. So I'm gonna save a brad. Man, I wish I would have punched this a little bit differently. Oh, I still got it. I'll do 2 of these. I'm gonna do the same strategy and glue 2. So this is made from, you know, like with the canned beverages packaging, you have those little tiny flaps, which I use the rest of the box to make the shells for my folios, but the little nibbly flaps aren't very good for that. But they're good for stuff like this. You can punch out some button supports and stuff from them. So waste not, want not, my friends. Okay, we're just gonna mount this guy here. And we can actually add this after, now that we're just gonna glue it on. So I'm gonna let this dry off to the side, and we're gonna mount this inside of here and cover up this back part, because you're gonna see this, right? This will be a flap and this will open, and we don't want it to be ugly, so we're gonna glue this on top. I'm just gonna use good old glue stick. I use computer paper. This is just printed on. Aw, there's a design on the back. I didn't realize that. That's okay. I just want to see quickly if the other background had a design on the back or not. No, it doesn't. So we'll just use this one, I guess. I didn't realize that had a design on the back. Can use that somewhere else, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Does not. It does not. So I think we're gonna glue it this way. Okay. So I'm just gonna lots of glue, and I'll probably put some another glue type on. Yes, it's gonna glue right over this, and we're just gonna bust that hole right through, back through it. So no worries. And we're just gonna cut it out. Try not to get glue stick on my mat because it gets icky and gross, but generous with the glue because I want this to stick really well. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of glue over this masking tape, 3-in-1, because I don't know if the glue stick is gonna be sufficient. So I'm just gonna run some of this over here, and then around this dude, and around this dude. All right, hopefully that'll give us what we need. Okay, we're just gonna mount that just over. And what am I looking for? Where'd my glue stick go? Oh, could have just used my hands, but it's okay. We're just gonna bust that out right off anyway. And it's fine. We just want to get as much mounted down as we can. Get it as good, tight. Okay. I'm gonna actually take this away. Okay. All right, and then now you could have cut this to size if you wanted to before gluing down. That is a viable option and probably less struggly than what I'm hacking away at here. Now I can come back to this later, and I wanted to like round the edges and do a little bit more, you know, refinement. But we're kind of just right now, we're just cutting this excess away from the base. I'll probably take a X-Acto to it to get a nice straight edge. I don't think it's quite straight. It's a little off probably. And I'm gonna leave the button off since I am adding the button after math anyway. All right, so it's like either I can glue this down or cut this off. So I think I'm just gonna glue it down. I think that's the easier solution. And that's okay. Just gonna try to glue this down because it's best you can. This was from cutting it all at awkward time in the process. Okay. All right, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna let this settle out a little bit. This is the string for that. I can actually probably use it for this other thing too. No. let's just get some more string. So while that's kind of drying, we're gonna get this done. Now, so order of operations in my brain was always really tricky for this project. So I think what I'm going to do, and if the order is off, that's, I guess, something I'm gonna have to just deal with. Okay. Could certainly use a thicker glue for this. It's not completely out of the realm of smart options. Okay, glue that down. This is loose, so I'm actually gonna glue that down better. Excuse me. Okay. Now, I probably should do this one first. See, this, the order of operations, like I said, was a moment of struggling, so. Okay, we'll see. We'll get it. I'm gonna go through this hole. Uh-oh. Did I give myself a noob? I would give myself a little bit more. See, this is gonna buckle. So maybe twice. I think the tricky part with elastic is oh, come on now, act out. The tricky part with elastic is getting it taut enough, but not too taut where, yeah, that like 2.5, I guess, because you can always trim. Okay, we're gonna loosen it up just a little bit. It's like, yeah, it's like getting it taut enough so that it's not like limp, and but not too taut where it's like sucking up all of the, uh-oh. Might have got a little aggressive with the tightening of that. That seems okay. Okay. So this is all getting glued down anyway. So I'm just like, this face is gonna get glued down. So this is all gonna get glued down. What I am gonna do is just put some tape over it to sort of keep it contained in this location. All right, this, you see me struggling. You see me over here struggling. All right, well, okay. Well, you know what? You over here acting up with me. Sometimes you just gotta talk to your materials and your, because they be acting out, you know? All right, so it's gonna be glued up, mounted down. This is nice. This feels pretty good. Okay, let's do the other one. I don't think it'll be long enough, so let's just abandon that idea. And we'll do 2. And some. Tricky bit. Okay, we're gonna go. So this is tricky. I don't know I have no, like I said, order of operations was a whole thing in my head that I wasn't sure how this was all gonna function, so. This is, All right, how can we do this? Like, how could this be something that works? Yeah, that was like two and more was a little excessive for that one. That was, how did you let me do that? Again, I am uncertain if this is going to actually work. Apparently I can't actually tie this. Ooh. Well, buddy's spicy. Okay. This is definitely, well, it's not horrible. Well, this is gonna get glued down. This is gonna get glued down at this edge. So it might be okay. I think what I'm going to do though is I'm gonna trim these extra bits. Okay, I am gonna say that this will work. We just, when we glue these things down, that's when everything will function like we need it to. Okay. All right, so we've got those and one more elastic strap. We have to re-punch our holes. Probably should have done this before doing that weird one, but whatever, we're here now. I'm actually gonna go from this direction and, oh no, we want it that way. We want it just like that. Up here. Now you can put the knot on the outside, you can put the knot on the inside. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, if you put the knot on the inside, it's going to act out. And you're right. This is not strong enough. So I think what I'm going to do, it's going to act out when you were sliding things in there. Now, generally speaking, I've got some ideas, but you should just use the washi, because the washi method is much simpler or more straightforward than this. Okay, I need to go the other direction. Yeah, I would strongly encourage watching my videos at double speed. My crafting ones, because I don't know. I couldn't imagine watching crafting videos at regular speed. Okay. Yeah, and I think what I'm gonna do, now I had a couple of thoughts, but I'm now thinking, where did I put that? Dang, forgot. Sorry, I'm looking for, where did I put that tape? I'm looking for my packing tape. Cause it's, I guess you could mount the inside after you do the, well, see, order of operations is a whole thing. All right, let's see if I can find my packing tape. I just had it in my hands like a few days ago. Where, I'm trying to think now where I put something. All right. Well, we don't need to see. You don't need to see that. That's fine. I will do that. So I can do that later. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to glue this top panel down. And I'm going to glue the edge of this down. And I am going to glue down the middle. So right now, I feel like I have kind of the base components pulled together. We've got our grommets, we've got our elastic straps, we've got this in here. And so I think the big moves are complete and I can now glue down, start gluing stuff down. So we are going to not need this right now. We're gonna use our 3-in-1. I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but we're gonna do it. It's gonna happen. Okay. I'm gonna glue down. We're gonna glue down the middle. And then we're gonna glue everything to the left of that on this panel. Okay. I'm gonna give this a good press, and we're just gonna be patient and let the glue set. Making sure to like get this edge really good, nice and pressed, because it's going over that elastic strap underneath it. I'm actually gonna pull a little of that out, get a little bit of slack. It'll have to get tucked in. I don't know. Like I said, order of operations was a whole struggle in my head. I was like, you're not gonna solve everything thinking about it. You gotta just start putting some things down into a tangible form, and then you can work through it. Okay, and then I'm gonna glue just this corner because we're gonna leave this as a pocket. So I'm gonna basically glue a 1/2 inch or so over. So I'm gonna cover the grommet and maybe go like 1/8 of an inch or a 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch past the grommet to the inside. So this little strip is gonna get glued down, and I'm gonna make sure that the elastic strap bits that are flailing a bit, I'm gonna actually tape them together to keep them contained. Right, I'm just like taping them together. So when I glue them down, as long as they're sort of in that zone, they'll be mounted down to the paper too. That's the idea here, so we'll see. You could certainly put your grommets a little further in too, in order to make this process a little less stressful. All right, so I think we're gonna go like that. I hope this is in camera. I'm at a really awkward angle here, so forgive me if you can't see what I am doing, but I'm really just gluing this. Okay, we're gonna just sneak a little glue in there. Don't be stingy with the glue, because not only is it holding this paper bag, but it's also holding the elastic strap down too. So all right. We don't want that one involved. All right. Okay. Like, I might even do clips for this one because we're kind of fighting against that elastic strap. Let's see if I can snatch up. Don't love that it's bending like that. Once you get the paper in there as well, it will, can I put glue up there? You know, it'll stretch it out too. So right now we're just trying to get as the best of a seal on this edge as we possibly can, the tools that we have available to us. Okay. All right, so we will let that settle out. All right, so the order of this, I don't even know. So this is gonna be a pocket. So I'm actually gonna glue, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get all the way in here. I'm gonna try though. So I'm just gluing down the middle. And then I'm gonna glue up this part here. And I think that should just about do it. Because the paper bag is a little bit thicker, a little bit more sturdy of a material, you might have to keep your fingers on it until the glue sets. Your fingers or something willow white. I'm just gonna wipe this excess glue over here. There might be some inside. Just gonna leave that there for a second. You can see it's a little mishmash. That's okay. Like I said, when I traced this, I wasn't being probably as like careful as I should, but you can always trim that. We've got plenty of paper back here, so it won't expose anything. We're just gonna let all this dry. Also didn't recrease this. I'll just recrease this. And we can add our button whenever. I'm not in a hurry now to add the button. But it'll go there when I do add it. Pretty sure I put glue right there. Why are you acting out? All right, So this is what we have so far. We have our pocket here. We have our elastic strap for one of our signatures on the left. We have an elastic strap for one of our signatures at the top here. And then we have our closure component in the back. So I am going to end the video here. We blew past our little session. So I will see you in an upcoming video and we will continue working on this project. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are not an email subscriber and you would like a free mini kit, please do consider joining my email list. Once you sign up, you will get a free mini kit called Forest Falls. There's a whole series on my YouTube channel using those papers to create some pretty cool looking projects. So join me there. If we're not subscribed here, please do consider subscribing. Click like on this video, share your thoughts down in the comment section below. And yeah, thank you so much again. I look forward to seeing you in an upcoming video. Bye.